42, 44. Yeah, 44.
Okay. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's start with what brings you to this organization? What is
Well, I actually came to this organization. My daughter, Antonesia, met Miss Patricia, who was a neighbor of ours at the time, and I noticed that when she would go with Mrs. Patricia to the meeting, she would come back and she would be really, really happy and having a good time. And after a couple of times, I said, well, you know what? I think I better go and see, what's making her so happy. And when I went, I haven't stopped coming to anything. At the time, the choir had just gotten started. Wonderful choir, wonderful ministry altogether. Anything that has to do with stopping violence and bringing people all together, that's what I'm all about. I love to see people of all races, of all backgrounds, just getting along, uh, just loving God, coming together, and definitely in stopping violence.
okay? So that's interesting. So unlike a lot of other folks here, it hasn't really touched your life personally. You're just seeing the positive effects.
It has touched my life personally. The reason and how we actually got started with going down to Paris, Texas, and started a No More Violence in Paris, Texas, had to do with my daughter's friend, Troy Gray Jr. He was found murdered. I guess it was about 2 to 3 weeks before he was actually found. The car was found on a Thursday or Friday morning burning, and he wasn't found until 2 or 3 weeks later. And that's actually what took us to Paris. So yes, I was touched personally because I had watched Troy grow up from a kid. I had known him for years, since he was about 4 or 5 years old. Knew his parents because at one time we did live in Paris, Texas.
Do you know what happened, or was there any?
We really don't know what happened. There has been 8 unsolved murders in Paris, Texas. One was a quadruple murder, and then there has been several single murders with no one brought to justice as of yet.
And one of those is your daughter's friend?
Yes, Troy Gray Jr.
So there are no leads,
No leads. They've had several leads. The parents even went and hired a private investigator, which not sure as to what happened with that, but I was told that the private investigator did come up with some really good evidence, but nothing, as of today. Still no one brought to justice for Troy Gray Jr.'s murder.
Was there any indication of maybe a robbery or revenge, or
Possibly robbery, because Troy did keep quite a bit of money on him. The reason why that there was a timeline that was developed, Troy had always been a very respectable, totally honored his parents. So because of the morning that he left, they felt like he was going to help someone, because he did tell them that he would be back in just a little bit when he left that morning, early.
but nobody knew where he was headed?
No. And, the parents started worrying because he did not return. And then to find out that they had found the rental car that your child had been renting, to find out that it was found burning, that kind of got to all of us.
Burning probably indicates maybe trying to get rid of evidence.
Destroying evidence, yes.
Okay. So what's your involvement with this organization today?
My involvement with this organization today, I am actually the treasurer. I am the hospitality director for the convention for this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen have you seen any progress or positive results as a
I have
result?
seen so much positivity since I've been involved with this organization. I know that this organization will grow. I look to one day see this organization grow to hopefully every state have a no more violence organization
Did this organization?
Mhm. in their city.
Okay.
Hmm.
So was your daughter involved in the organization as a result of losing her friend, and they helped her deal with that, or she just was?
No, it was because we were neighbors of Mrs.
Oh, that's right.
Allen,
Okay.
Patricia Allen.
Okay, so just pure coincidence.
Hmm.
Do you think that what was the time frame between the incident with the friend and your relationship here with the organization? Is that like?
You know, I'm gonna say maybe just a matter of months of myself joining, and then when the murder actually happened, because I got in touch with Patricia and told her about Troy and Deborah, that my daughter, because my daughter, she is a veteran, and she goes through a lot. Her happier days were with Troy. I saw a lot of improvement from her coming home from the war while she was with Troy. And just, you know, that right there took so much out of Deborah when that happened.
So, so this organization, as far as assisting Deborah, dealing with the war, dealing with the loss, do you think that it seems like it's close enough to where she could receive direct benefit for those?
Yes. Yes, Deborah's also a member of No More Violence.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to do is connect, the things that she's dealing with the turnaround in her personality that you saw.
Yes, I can see definitely a big change since she has been in No More Violence, because she is getting to work with the youth. Not only that, she's also being able to kind of bond more closely with the parents, because, you know, by us going to Paris for those 3 days, that she'll definitely get a chance to sit and visit with the family members of Troy Gray Jr.
And just curious, you said that being a veteran, did she see combat?
She did see combat.
And that affected her?
Yes, it did. It
So
really
violence
did.
is beyond just your neighborhood. It's really, our government and what we're doing.
Our government, I guess my living and born and raised in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I lived in Rochester, Michigan for about 3 years.
Yeah. And I was there during the riots, you know, and I often think about that.
Right. Yeah, but I have a cousin that's in Detroit, and he swears that there's nothing but opportunity right now.
You know what? I do agree. Flint, Michigan is probably worse than Detroit.
We're in
And
Flint.
Flint, my dad retired from General Motors there in Flint. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any closing thoughts or anything else? Or?
Any closing, the closing thoughts that I do have is that, you know, my prayer, once again, is to definitely see this organization grow. I know that God will continue to bless us. We see that we're already having a church for a future convention he wants to have he's looking forward to having a convention here in Dallas, and we're like, hold on, because we haven't even had the first one yet. So yeah, I see lots of growth in the organization.